Very warm welcome to all my students, and I am Dr. Kakuli Banerjee. I will be talking about SQL today in my lecture. Right. In the previous lectures, we have already seen how to create tables, delete tables, update the tables, how to insert data into them, and basically how to go for different type of data manipulation using SQL commands. Right. Today, we will be talking about inserts, update, delete operations, and we will be also talking about the different type of joins. We will be talking about the union operation, the intersection operation, the minus operation, and all these things. Right. So, to start with, we will start with the basic intersection. The basic idea behind the insert, update and delete operations in SQL. So, without wasting any time, we will start with the insert into syntax. Right. Now, till now we have seen that how to fetch information. We were fetching information depending upon different criterias, but right now what we will be talking about, we will be talking about how to insert data into the table that we have created using the DDL commands. Right. So, this is the format that we have, this is the structure, or we can call it the syntax that we have, which is used for inserting data into a particular table that you have specified with your attributes and all those things. Right. So, there are two ways of inserting data into the tables. The first way you can see over here, it is like insert into table, the table name. Right. And then we specify the column names like column 1, column 2, column 3, these are the attributes, and then we specify the values. For example, how we can use this? This is like insert into, again I am telling you SQL is a case sensitive language. To save time, I am using the running structure to write down the queries, but whenever you write these things, they should be in capital. So, whenever we are writing insert into, that should go into capital. Right. So, insert into, this is a table name. So, let us take a table name student. Right. And in the student, let us say we are having the attributes like the roll number, the name, father's name, etc. So, let us take 3 attributes, the roll number, the name of the student and father's name of the student. Right. So, this is how we are going to use this structure. So, this was, you can say this is the column number 1, the roll number, the column number 2 is the name, the column number 3 is father's name, and we can keep going on. And this type of a structure is used when we do not know in which sequence the data is going to be added. So, we specify the sequence. So, we can have the father's name before the name, even if in the database actually the name was before father's name. Right. So, you can change the sequence when you are using this method. The second method, you will not be able to change the sequence. So, insert into table name, then the attribute name, then we specify the values. Right. So, we will specify the first value as let us say 9100731. So, this was your roll number, then the name is let us say anything XYZ, followed by father's name, let us say ABC, and so on. Right. And we can have multiple values, again we can have values, then we can specify roll number 100732, the name is MNX, let us say, father's name, right, anything like this. So, we can use this method for inserting values into your table. Now, let us come to the next way through which we can insert values into the table. In this way we cannot change the sequence in which we are entering the values. So, this is simple insert table name, and then we specify the value. So, this using this method it is going to be insert into student, and then we will specify the values like the roll number, then the name, then the father's name, and so on. But what is the difference? The difference is this is definitely going to save some time, right. But when we want to, let us say we want to enter the name first and then the roll number, right. In that case what we can do is, over here we can make changes, we can write name over here and we can write roll number over here, and we can make changes over here also. We can enter the name first and then the roll number, right. So, this is how the change can be made when we are using the first method. This possibility is not available with the second method, right. So, this is a basic insert statement. Now, let us take some examples, because in SQL the more you practice, the more better you will understand. So, we will take some examples. So, over here there are some queries that I have already put on screen for you. We will be writing these queries. The questions are there. It tells us to insert information of a new employee with employee ID. So, the employee ID has been specified. Name is Vijay Kumar Sharma, date of birth is 10th and salary is 50,000 into the employee table, right. So, what we are going to do is, we will write insert into, again these things should be in capital. Please, I am reminding you again and again, these things should be in capital. Insert into employee. So, this is your employee table, right, and we are specifying the values. So, first is the employee ID 00133225K, they followed by the name. So, this was like Vijay Kumar Sharma, followed by the date, or this is not date, this is basically the department number, the department number 10, followed by the salary which has been specified as 50,000. So, this is how we will insert this value into the database, right. Now, once we have done the insertion, there will be a requirement for updation. Now, how we will go for the updation? In when we talk about updation, needs a different type of a structure where we have to update the table name, right. So, over here you can see that the query has been specified, which says update the salary of the employee with employee ID this to this value, right. So, the condition has also been specified that the salary of that employee has to be updated whose employee ID is this. So, how we will do? Very simple, right. We will write update, again these things should be in capital, update. So, this is update the table name, right, update employee set. So, whenever we are using update, we will set the value, right. We will set the salary to 55,000, right. We will set the salary to 55,000. Now, the condition is still remaining. We have to update it only for a particular person or for a particular employee. So, what we will write? Where EID, that is the employee ID, is equal to 001225 40 L, right. So, this is how the update statement works. We will go through the syntax of the update statements also in detail. So, here you can see this is the syntax of the update statement. I took the example so that you can understand the syntax in a better way, right. So, this is the update statement is used for modifying the existing record in the table, right. So, update is always used to modify something that is already there in the table, right. And this is the syntax which says update the table name, set column 1 to value 1. We can have multiple options also, we can change multiple things like column 2 to value 2 and where the condition, right. So, if there is a query, like update the salary of a particular employee whose employee ID is like 006 and update his salary to let us say 80,000 and change his address to a new address. So, in that case what we will do? We will write update the table name, that was employee, update employee, right, set salary, right, set salary to 80,000 and the address, the employee address, right, the address to be let us say Noida sector 62, right, where the condition where employee ID is equal to what? We took 006. So, we are going to take the same value 006, right. So, we can make multiple updation also, we can make his his telephone number also we can change. So, we can say the phone number is equal to something, some value. So, we can make multiple updations using the same statement, right. Let us move to the other options. Like now, the next query says that you need to increase the salary of each employee by 10%, right. Now, what we need to do? We need to change the salary of each and every person and we need to increase it by 10%. So, how we are going to do it? We are going to again use the update and set statement. Now, how does this update and set statement work? For this condition, we will say update employee, set salary is equal to, obviously when it is 10%, that means if we multiply it by 1.1, there will be a increase of 10%, right. Salary is equal to salary multiplied by 1.1. So, what this is going to do? This is going to make change into the salary of all the employees, right, of all the employees. Now, let us see about the next query. Now, it is telling us to delete something. Now, the delete command, like the update command, is used to update something into the database. Similarly, we use the delete command to delete something from the table which is there in the database catalog. Now, it is telling us to delete what? Delete employee with employee ID. The employee ID has been specified from the employee table. So, how we are going to write? Like we write it write for the update. Similarly, we are going to write for the delete command also. So, what we are going to write? We are going to write delete Now, again this delete should be in capitals, from employee. So, this from will come when we are specifying the delete command, right. Delete from employee, where EID is equal to 002234 C, right. So, simply we have deleted what? We have deleted something from the database. We have deleted one particular employee from the database whose employee ID has been specified to us, right. Okay. So, this is how we implement the insert, update and delete operation. So, these type of operations are they can be also used in combination when and wherever used, when and wherever required. So, when we start with insert, we saw that insert has two methods for inserting data into the tables. For updation, we update the database or the tables with new values of the tuples, and when we want to remove something from the table, we use the delete statement, right. Now, let us move to joins. Now, joins are very important component when we talk about SQL. Now, what are joins? Basically, a joint clause is used to combine rows from two or more tables. So, what we are going to do when we are talking about joins, we are going to combine the tuples in that are available in more than one table, right, and based on related columns between them. So, whenever we talk about joins, very important is that there should be some relation amongst the combining tables. So, either like if we can join something like we can have the student data from the registrar office, we can have the student data from the department. They may hold different type of information, but what is different? The difference is that whenever we are joining them, their roll number is common. The roll number is common in both the tables. Only in that case we will be able to join our these two tables, right. So, what we can do is we will see how these joins work, right. So, we have two different, when we talk about the broad classification, we have two different type of joins. We have the inner join and we have the outer join, right. And when we talk about the outer joins, we have further classification of left outer join, right outer join and full outer join, right. So, let us see what are these things when we talk about a inner join. Now, what is a inner join? Right. What is a inner join? Inner join works only when we have the matching values in both the tables, right. Inner join will work when only when, or it will return only those records which are having matching values in both the tables. Let us say we are having a table A and table B, right, and let us say we are having a structure like this, and this was your table A and table B. We are having the roll number and some other information, again the roll number and some other information. Over here we are having 1, 2, 3, over here the roll number we are having 2, 3, 4, right. So, we are going to use, if we are going to use the inner join, in inner join what output we are going to get? We are going to get only those tuples where the perfect match is taking place. So, we will get 2 and 3 as the output, because 2 and 3 roll number are available in both the tables, right. So, this is how the inner join works. If we will join these two tables, we will have 2 and 3, right. These values can be, the rest of the values can be different, right. Now, let us talk about the next one, that is the left outer join. Now, left outer join, what happens when we talk about a left outer join? It returns all the records from the left table. So, whatever we are having at the left hand side, it will return everything from the left table and it will return only those records from the right table which are going for a perfect match, right. So, if this is your left table and this is your right table, what will be the resultant of the left outer join? We will have 1, 2, 3 all coming from the left table and only the things that are matching from the right table, only those records will come. So, records of only 2 and 3 will come into this resultant table, right. Records of only 2 and 3 will come into the resultant table. Similarly, we have the right outer join. In the right outer join, what do we get? We get all the records from the right table and we get only the matching records from the left table. Coming to the last option for full outer join. So, full outer join works where it is going to return all the records when there is a match in either left or in the right table, right. When there is a match in either left or right table. So, whenever we any type of match like in the left and the right outer join, what was happening that one side we are taking completely, other side we are taking only the matched attributes or the matched tuples, right. But when we talk about full outer join, we take the results only when there is a match on either sides, right. So, we are going to take those values. So, this is the basic idea behind joins. Let us take the few queries for creating joins and we will see how these queries are implemented for creating the joins. So, the first query that has been specified to you, it tells you to get the name of students who have appeared for subject TCS 501, right. So, we will create a join, right. We will be creating a join between two tables, that is the student table and the result table, and using this join we are going to give the output to the user, right. So, let us see how it is done. We will write select student name, select student name from two tables we are joining. What are the two tables? It is a student table and the result table. From student and result, where now this is where we are creating the, we are going to create the join, where student dot roll number is equal to result dot roll number. So, what do we have when we talk about the student and the result table? Both the tables are having the roll number, right. The student table is having the roll number along with the student details. The result is having the roll number along with the subject he has appeared, how much marks he has got in each subject. So, we are basically creating a join with the student table and the result table between them, and how we are doing it? We are equating the roll number on both the sides, right. So, this is creating a join, and what was the second condition? It says that whosoever has given or whoso has appeared for this particular subject TCS 501. So, after this we will write and subject code is equal to TCS 501, right. So, you have seen that successfully we have created this join, right, and we have fetched out those students who have given or who have appeared for this subject TCS 501. If we want to just for a difference, if we would have written this query in relational algebra, how would we have written it? It would have been projection on student name, right, on selection, right, on subject code, which should have been TCS 501, and how this join is created in case of relational algebra using the Cartesian product. So, we will create student result, right. So, this is the equivalent relational algebra for this particular query, right. So, we will go through the inner join quickly. So, over here I have just specified the syntax. The syntax is enough to make you understand what the thing is. Like it is says select the column name from the table name, and then we specify inner join table 2, right. Inner join table 2 on table 1 dot column is equal to table 2 dot column name. So, this is how we are going to equate. We will specify inner join over here to create the inner join, right. Moving to the next one, we have the left join. For the left join, you see this is the syntax. It tells you that the left join keyword returns all records from the left table and the matching records from the right table. So, the syntax is select column name from table, and you just specify left join table 2, right. So, left join, so table 2 forms the left hand side, and then we go for the finding the equivalence between the two column names. We have the full outer join. So, you can see in the full outer join we just specify full outer join and the table 2, and we can also specify the condition. This is how we equate it in case of a full outer join. So, that is all about joins. We will quickly go through union operation, right, and this query tells you to find get the name of students who have appeared for subject TCS 501 and 503 or both. So, in that case we are going to use the union operation. How we are going to do it? We will do it very quickly. Select distinct student name from student comma result, right, where student, for student I am using S right now, student dot roll number is equal to, for result I am using R right now, R dot roll number, and subject code is equal to TCS 501, right. Union, again in brackets we will write select distinct student name from student comma result, where student dot roll number is equal to result dot roll number, and the subject code is TCS 503, right. So, what we have done is we have used this union word. We have used this union word. Similarly, you can see the same method is used for intersection, right. The same method we have used for intersection. We have gone for select, and what was the query? The query was to get the name of the students who have appeared for both the papers, So, we specify that the select distinct student name from student and result, where the student roll number is equal to result dot roll number, and the subject code is this, right. And this is where the change comes. We have been using, in the last query we have used union, over here we are using intersect, and in the same way we have found out the result, the students who have appeared for TCS 503 also. So, what we are going to get? We are going to get those students who have appeared for both the papers, right. And this is the last operation that we have, the last statement we say we have, and this is what? This is basically use of the minus operation. So, you can see there is only the only difference that we have, the minus is being used instead of union and intersection. So, I think I was able to cover all the topics that will help you to understand SQL in a better way, and I will request you all to please practice lot of queries, so that you can understand SQL. Thank you so much.